Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we will learn how to design and assemble a machinist jack in SolidWorks. A machinist jack is commonly used in machining to support workpieces and maintain proper alignment during operations like milling and drilling, etc. So let's start the tutorial and see how we can create this model in SolidWorks. सो नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, दिस इज़ दी मशीनस जैक। तो इसको आज हम क्रिएट करने जा रहे हैं। अगर हम इसके पार्ट्स देखें तो हमारे पास ये पार्ट्स गिवन है। नंबर फर्स्ट पे हमारे पास बेस है, नंबर सेकंड पे हमारे पास स्पाइवल है, नंबर थ्री पे हमारे पास बोल्ट है, नंबर फोर पे हमारे पास स्टैंडर्ड नेट है, एंड फाइव पे हमारे पास लॉक नेट आ जाएगा, एंड ये सिक्स वन हमारे पास स्क्रू है। तो हम इसको वन बाय वन क्रिएट करेंगे एंड देन एट द एंड असेंबल कर देंगे हम इसको असेंबली में। सो नाउ अगर हम अपने फर्स्ट पार्ट की तरफ चलें तो हमारे पास ये बेस है। इसको मैं जूम करता हूँ। ये हमारे पास डायमेंशन है इसकी। अगर आप इसकी डायमेंशन देखें तो हमारे पास एक रेक्टेंगल टाइप शेप है, देन उसकी जो डायमेंशन है वो हमारे पास 132 लेंथ है एंड 58 हमारे पास उसकी विड्थ है। फिर उसके ऊपर हमने स्केच क्रिएट करने हैं, मींस दो होल क्रिएट करने हैं जिसकी डायमेंशन हमारे पास आ जाएंगी। अगर आप इसके फ्रंट व्यू से देखें इस बेस के, तो हमारे पास 14 डायमीटर गिवन है। तो ये 14 डायमीटर के दो सर्कल क्रिएट होंगे, एंड देन हमारे पास एक और रेक्टेंगल किस्म की शेप है जो दोनों एंड्स पे आएंगी रेक्टेंगल के। और इसकी अगर हम डायमेंशन देखें तो 10 मिलीमीटर ये थिक है, एंड देन जो इसकी लेंथ है वो हमारे पास 75 मिलीमीटर है। एंड देन फिर हमारे पास इन दोनों एंड्स पे फिलेट यूज़ हुआ हुआ है जिसका रेडियस है हमारे पास 5। और ये फोर एंड्स पे यूज़ हुआ हुआ है। फोर एंड कौन से हैं? अगर आप टॉप व्यू से देखें तो एक ये एंड है, एक ये और एक ये और एक ये फोर एंड्स पे हमारे पास फिलेट यूज़ होगा। फिर अगर आप एक और चीज़ देखें तो अगर हम इस बेस को फ्रंट व्यू से देखें तो हमारे पास एक यहाँ पे भी सर्कल क्रिएट होगा, और उस सर्कल का जो डिस्टेंस है इस सर्कल के सेंटर से लेके इस बेस के बॉटम तक वो हमारे पास 54 है। एंड देन अगर हम इसकी पूरी हाइट देखें इस शेप की, तो हमारे पास इस 54 में ऐड हो जाएगा रेडियस ऑफ आउटर सर्कल जो कि हमारे पास 20 है। मींस 20 प्लस 54 आ जाएगा आपके पास 74। तो टोटल हाइट इसकी 74 होगी इस बॉटम से लेके इस पॉइंट तक। सो नाउ लेट्स गो टू दी सॉलिडवर्क्स पेज एंड क्रिएट दिस स्ट्रक्चर। उससे पहले आप ये देखना कि हमारे पास इन दो जो रेक्टेंगुलर शेप हैं इसके दरमियान जो डिस्टेंस है वो हमारे पास 32 है, एंड देन हमारे पास इसकी थिकनेस 10 होगी। So now let's go to the SolidWorks page and create the design. First we make sure front plane is selected for sketch, and then create the center rectangle. Okay, now we assign the dimensions. This is 132, enter. Now this is 58, enter here. Okay, now we create the circles at both end, just like this one. Now we assign the dimensions, that is 14 millimeter dia, and this is from this end to this end is 16, enter here. And now it is in exact center of this one. Now we can assign 50, okay, because 132 का जो हाफ वो हमारे पास 66 आता है, एंड 16 हमारे पास यहाँ पे आ गया, देन ये मेन हमारे पास 50 बच जाएगा। ओके, so now again we can assign the dimension of this circle, that is 14, enter here, and this one to this one is 16, enter, and remaining is 50. Okay, now our whole sketch is fully defined. Now we are going to the create a rectangular sketch on it. Now we can create the corner rectangle just like this one. Okay, now we assign the dimensions. That one is 10 millimeter thick. Okay, and the length is 75, enter. Now we can make it center, the center point, this one to this one, that is 0, means to make it meet. Okay, select. Now we can move it down. Okay, select the dimensions. From this point to this one is 3, exact 3, enter here. Okay, now we create the center line horizontal as infinite length at this point, because मैं इसको चाहता हूँ कि मैं इसको mirror कर लूँ at across this center line. So we can use the mirror entities, select all of these lines and mirror about, select this center line. Okay, now look here. Okay students, our whole sketch is fully defined. Now we are going to features and select the extrude boss command and then extrude it. First we see how many extrusion that is given in our required design, that is 14 millimeter. Okay, now we assign the thickness, that is 14 millimeter. Okay, now look here. Okay, now we select these sketches for extrusion. Now we going to sketch and going to the extrude boss command and then select selected contours and then select our this one and this one sketch. Okay, and now assign the dimension, that is the 74, enter here. Okay, now we are going to select this for sketch. Okay, now we create the circle at this point and then assign the dimensions. Now we assign the dimensions, that is 16 millimeter, enter. Okay, now we assign the dimension from this point to this one, that is 54, enter. And make it sure it is exact in center. Okay, now this circle is fully defined. Now we create the next circle, that is 40 millimeter dia and 20 is radius. Okay, we assign the dimensions, that is 40, enter here. Okay, अब हम एक लाइन क्रिएट करने जा रहे हैं जो इस सर्कल के टेंजेंट होगी बोथ द एंड, ताकि हमें जो रिक्वायर्ड शेप है वो अचीव हो जाए. Select the line and then from this point to randomly at this point. Okay, and now make a tangent with this circle. First we select this line and then press Ctrl key and select this circle, and there is option show tangent. Okay, okay students, now remaining part that we need to trim it. Okay, now we can make it mirror. So first we create a center line at this point. Now we select the mirror entities, select this line, mirror about this one. Okay, now look here. Now we can remove it. Now look here. Okay students, now we can use the simple command, that is extrude cut command, and select this portion and this one. Okay, now look here. Okay students, our required shape is fully achieved. Now we can select the sketch and select the extrude cut command, selected contours, select this circle. Okay, now look here. Okay students, the hole is also created. Now we are going to the next operation, that is fillet at this point. Select the fillet and select carefully all the edges and also this one. Now we assign the radius of the fillet, and how much is radius, that is R5 means 5 radius. 5, enter here. Okay, now look here. The fillet is applied. Now we are going to the next operation, that is fillet at these corner wheel applying. Now select the fillet command and select this option and select the first phase, that is that one, second phase this one, and the 5 millimeter radius fillet. Okay, now look here. The same one, select the fillet command First phase this one and the next one this one for 5 millimeter radius. Okay, the same criteria, select the fillet command, faces, next phase that is okay. Also select this one, first phase and the next phase. Okay. Okay students, our full part has been ready. Now we are going to assign the color and then assign the color as you want. All of parts. Look here. Okay students, now we assign this color. Okay, this one is good. Now our part is ready. We can save it. Save as part 1 to enter. Okay, now we are going to the next part, that is survival. The second part of the assembly is survival. If you look here, the dimension of survival is 32 millimeter thick at this point, and the circles, the first one circle, its dimension is, if you look here, this section view, that is 16 millimeter dia, and the outer circle, that is 22 millimeter dia. And now if you look here, the section view, there is a drill of M20 cross 2.5 and 32 millimeter thickness and 38 millimeter length of this drill. Now we are going to the SolidWorks page and make this design. Okay, select part. First we select the front plane for sketch. Okay, and then we can make the circles. First one, second one. Okay, assign the dimensions. That is 16 millimeter dia. Enter here. And the outer radius, that is 22 millimeter radius and 44 is dia. Okay, now we create a line. Select the midpoint line and in here we can create the line. Okay, now we make it horizontal. Okay, now we assign the dimension, that is 32 millimeter length, 32, enter here. Okay, now we make it center of this point, and that is 0. Okay, now we make a line randomly at this one, and again line randomly at this one. Okay, now we create this line and this line, make tangent with this circle. First like this one, and press Ctrl key and select this circle. There is tangent. Okay, same, select this one. This is tangent. Okay, now we can remove the extra trim entity. The extra line has been removed. Okay, now we can use the feature command, that is extrude boss. Select this one and this one, and how many thickness, that is 32, I think. Yes, 32 millimeter thickness. 32, enter here. Okay, now look here, our survival is almost ready. Now we are going to hole wizards. Now we select this option and then ansys metric, bottom tapped hold. Okay, and then we select the size, and that is M20 cross 2.5. Okay, and here is blind option, and then assign the length, that is 38, and depth up to the shoulder, and then assign the thread length, that is 34, enter here. Okay, now we can assign the position, select this one, and then exact at the center, this one. Okay, now look here, the thread has not been shown. Now we are going to the setting. Now we are going to document properties, detailing, shaded cosmetic thread, enter here. Now look here, the thread has been shown. The swivel is ready. Now we are simply going to assign the color, going to color command, and then assign the color as you want, just like this one or this one. This one is better. Okay, now look here. Now we are going to the next part, and that is bolt. Third one is bolt. So if you look here, the dimension of bolt, the length of the tail of bolt is 68, and the thickness of the head of the bolt is 10 millimeter. And then at the top of head, radius is 2 millimeter, and the threads in the tail of the bolt, that is 20 millimeter length, and the size is M16 multiplied by 2, and the head length from one end to the next end, that is 25 millimeter. So now we are going to the SolidWorks page. First we save it, save as part 1 3, enter here. Okay, now we are going to the new file, part. Okay, select the front plane for sketch, and then make the hexagonal structure. Okay, now we assign the dimensions from this point to this one, that is 25 millimeter, enter here. Okay, now we are simply extrude boss command, that is 10 millimeter. Okay, now we make sketch on it, just like this one, dimension that is 16, enter here. Now we can make it extrude like this face, and the total length, that is 68, enter here. Okay, now look here. Okay students, now we are going to make a fillet at this edge. First we select the right plane for sketch. Now we can make a sketch. First we select the line, and then create a sketch just like this one, then move and move backward, then make a curve just like this one. Okay, now we assign the dimensions. This one is 2 millimeter, enter here. This one is also 2 millimeter, enter here, and the radius is also 2 millimeter. Now our sketch is fully defined. Now we can going to the use revolve cut command, but before we make a construction line at this point, because we need the axis of revolution. So going to feature, select the revolve cut command, and look here. Okay, now look at that. Okay students, so this is the method to apply the fillet at the hexagonal structure. Okay students, now we are going to the next one, and that is thread on it. Now we are going to the insert. Here is annotation and the cosmetic thread. Okay, now we select the this circle, and face is this one. Okay, and symmetric machine threads. Okay, now we assign the size, that is M16 2. Okay. Now we can assign the length, that is 20 millimeter. Enter here. Okay. Now look here. Now the same one we are going to setting and allowing the shaded thread show. Going to document properties. Again going to detailing. Cosmetic thread. Enter. Now look here. The cosmetic thread is ready. Okay students. Now the one thing is remaining, that is chamfer at the end of the tail. Now we are going to the chamfer command and select the angle distance. Here is the distance is 1 millimeter and millimeter. That is okay. And the angle is 45. Select this edge. Okay. Now look here. It's look like more realistic. Okay students. Now we can assign the color just like this color or this one. So now we are going to the next part, and that is for one standard net. If we look the dimension of the standard net, that is 25 millimeter length from one corner to the next one, and the whole thread, that is M16 cross 2 millimeter, and the fillet at the one end, that is 2 millimeter radius, and the thickness is 10 millimeter. So we are going to the SolidWorks page, create new file, part. Okay. Select the front plane for sketch. Here is a hexagonal structure we create. Okay, now we assign the dimensions, that is 25. Enter here. Okay, now we use the extrusion command, that is 10 millimeter. Okay, now we make the center hole with threaded. We are going to the hole wizard. Here we select the straight tab and ANSYS metric, and here is select the tap hole, and now we assign the size, that is M16 to. Okay, blind through all. Okay, and now position exact center. Okay, now look here. Now we are going to the setting, going to the document properties, detailing, and then shaded cosmetic thread on. Now look here, the threads has been ready. Now we make the fillet at this edge. We select the right plane for sketch. Now we create the same structure as we create in the bolt, just like here. Enter. Okay, now we assign the dimensions, 2 millimeter. Enter here. This one is also 2 millimeter, and the radius is also 2. Okay, now the sketch is fully defined. Now we create the center line for axis of revolution. Okay, now we are going to the features and select the bolt cut command. Just look at that, it can select automatically. Okay, now look here. Okay students, our nut has been ready. Now we are simply going to assign the color, same one as we assign the bolt. Okay, Now we are going to save it. Save as 15, enter here. Okay. Now we are going to the next part, and that is 51, that is lock nut. Here is the lock nut dimensions. If you look here, 8 millimeter thickness and outer diameter is 45 millimeter, and the internal threaded circle that is size M20 cross 2.5. So now we are going to the SolidWorks page and then create new file. Okay. Now we make sure front plane is ready for sketch. Okay. Now we make the circles. First circle that is 45 millimeter dia, enter here. Okay. Now we can extrude it. Use extrude command and then it is 8 millimeter, enter here. Okay. Now look here. Now we can use the same hole wizards. Here select the straight tab and symmetric tabbed hold and sizes M20 2.5 throw all. Now select the position, select from center. Okay. Now look here, the threads are invisible. Same, we are going to the setting, going to document properties and detailing, and on this shaded cosmetic threads. Okay, now look here, the threads has been ready. The one thing remaining, that is this phase is going to null. If you look here in the diagram, this phase is being nulled. So we are going to the SolidWorks page and select this phase, going to appearances and going downward. This is the option miscellaneous 3D texture, and here is some options. If we going downward, here is null bump. Now look here, this surface is going to already nulled. So now our whole part is ready. We are simply assign the color. Now we assign the color as you want, just like this color. Okay. Now we are going to save it. Save as. 16, enter here. Okay. Now students, we are going to the next part, and that is 61, that is screw. If you look the dimensions of screw, the total length is 56 millimeter, and there is a hole inside the screw that's diameter is 10.5 millimeter dia. There is the thread on the screw and its size is M20 cross 2.5, and the chamfer on both end, that is 1 multiply 45-degree angle. So now it's a little bit dimensions, and there is one more dimension, that is from the center of the hole to the end of the screw, that is 16 millimeter, and the other, that is thread length is 32 millimeter. Now we are going to the SolidWorks page, create new file, part. Okay. Now we are going to sketch, select front plane for sketch. Okay. Now we create the circle and its dimension is M20, means 20 millimeter dia. Okay. We can use the extrude boss command, and total length is 56. Enter here. Okay. Now look here. Now select the top plane for sketch. Okay. Now we create the circle at this point and assign the dimension and its dia is 10.5. Enter here. Okay, now the dimension from this point to this one is 16. Enter here. Okay, now we use the extrude cut command. Select this one and select the all both. Okay, now look here. Okay students, now we apply the thread on it. Going to insert, annotation and cosmetic thread. Now select the edge and face. Okay, now we assign the metric machine thread. Okay, and here is size is M22.5. Okay, now we assign the length and that is 32. Enter here. Okay, now look here. We are simply going to setting and then on the setting cosmetic shaded threads. Going to document properties, detailing on this one. Okay, now look here. Okay students, now the one thing that is remaining, the chamfer. We are going to the chamfer command and select the edges carefully, both of edge, and then 1 millimeter length, millimeter, and the angle is 45. Okay, now look here. Okay students, the screw is ready. Now we assign the color and the color is, I think this one is better. Okay, now students, our all parts has been ready. We are simply save it and going to the assembly. First we save it. 17. Enter here. Okay, now we are going to the assembly, new assembly. Okay, now first we insert the part, tab, enter, again. Okay, okay students, now we insert the next part, that is 1 3. Enter here. Now we press the tab again. No. Okay, now again. Okay, now first we make concentric the swivel with the base. Mate command. Going to mate and select the concentric command. Select this hole with this one. Okay, now look here. Now the second one, that is we make the coincident command use. Select the coincident command. Select this face with this face. Okay, now look here. This is movable. Now we insert the next part. Okay, now we insert the next part. Insert. Okay, now we can make it concentric first. Going to mate command. Select the concentric command and make concentric with this one. Okay, now look here. It is going to movable. Now the next command, that is make it coincident with this surface. Use coincident command. Select the faces. First select this face and second one is this face. Okay, now look here. Okay students, now we are going to insert the next part, and that is bolt. If you look here, the direction of bolt is reverse, we can use the tab. Okay, the fillet side is going to outward. Now look here. Okay, so first we use the concentric command, make it concentric with this face. Okay, if you look here, it is movable. Now here is one more command, that is screw command we use. We are going to mate and then going to mechanical, and we can delete it. Okay, here is screw command we use. First we select these threads and then these one. Okay, now we use the distance per revolution, that is to enter here. Okay, now look here, it are freely to move thread on thread. Okay, now we can use the next command, that is coincident. Make coincident this face with this one. Okay, now look here, it is fixed. Now we can insert the next component, and that is lock nut. Okay, first we use the command, that is concentric. Use concentric command, select this face with this one. Okay, now look here. Now the next command, we use the coincident command, select this face with this one. Okay, okay, now we insert the next component, and that is screw. Press the tab button. Now okay, now first we make concentric the screw with this lock screw. Going to mate, select the concentric command, select this face and this one. Okay, now look here, it is freely to move. Now here is one more command we can use, that is screw. We are going to mate, going to mechanical, select the screw, select this one and these threads. Okay, select the distance per revolution, that is 2.5. Enter here. Okay, now look here, it is move. अब अगर हम इस बेस को थोड़ा डिफरेंट कलर दिखाना चाहें, तो हम चलते हैं कलर कमांड में, तो इसको थोड़ा डिफरेंट सा कलर असाइन करते हैं, जस्ट लाइक येलो या ग्रीनिश हो गया, कोई भी कलर, जस्ट लाइक हेयर, now look here, green, this one is yellow, now look here, so I think this one is better. Okay students, now okay. So now students, this completes our Machinist Jack design and assembly. I hope you found it useful. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more SolidWorks project. Stay with us. Allah Hafiz. See you in the next tutorial.